Godzilla versus Kong. Godzilla versus Mothra. T-Rex. 5 T-Rex killers. Let's do it. Oh my god, dude. This is so freaking funny, man.
Today, we will be uncovering an unpopular truth. The Tyrannosaurus Rex was not invincible. As powerful as the T-Rex was, there were only a few dinosaurs that could have posed a serious problem to the Rex if they ever ran into one. Today, we will be revealing 5 of these potential T-Rex assassins and their arsenal of brutal weapons. So sit back and stick with us to the end as we uncover the identity of 5 ultimate T-Rex killers.
All right, I'm fine. This is hype content, fine. After this is coming a size comparison from the Kong movie, because I was told it was a size comparisons of dinosaurs. Those things are not dinosaurs. They're specifically titans or like kaiju or something like that. It's not the same thing. But first we're watching this, then that's what's up next. What's like a 25-minute video, because I was fooled. Let's get it.
As a juvenile, the Tyrannosaurus Rex would have faced many challenges during its journey to become an apex predator.
I'm also interested to see if they use its arms in any of these depictions, just for reference.
Living long enough to grow up to be 45 feet in length was not going to be easy. Being smaller than its adult counterparts meant that it would have faced other meat-eaters that would want it dead before it reached its maximum size. But what would have happened if, for whatever reason, a juvenile T-Rex runs into one of these?
Juvenile
Number
specifically,
1,
all right.
The utahraptor. This list takes off with a type of dinosaur that was built to kill. Raptors have been perhaps one of the most successful theropod dinosaurs of all time. Armed with a plethora of sharp claws, talons, and razor-sharp teeth, any dinosaur that ran into a group of raptors would have had a really bad time. While it is true that most raptors were lightweight and fast, the utahraptor is one exemption. This raptor is one of the largest of its kind, measuring up to 18 to 24 feet long. Being so large in comparison to its other relatives meant that it did not move as fast or was as agile as the other raptors. This does not matter in this scenario, since we will be squaring up a utahraptor against a juvenile T-Rex. A study held by James Kirkland explains that by observing its thick leg bone structure, we can assume that this raptor could have exerted enough force to inflict powerful kicks without losing its balance. In this case, these would have been the most fatal kicks this juvenile T-Rex ever experienced. Not to mention that they were armed with the raptor's primary weapons.
I was going to wonder about that.
Claws that could each measure more than 9 inches long.
Things are nutty.
These claws were more than enough to disembowel the juvenile Rex, causing it to rapidly bleed to death. The inexperienced juvenile wouldn't have stood a clear chance against a fully grown utahraptor, only relying on an opportunity to deploy its strong bite. Although it is true that the T-Rex did not grow around the likes of a utahraptor, a juvenile T-Rex would have still been on the lookout for larger and more powerful predators that posed a threat. But getting killed by the next dinosaur on this list could only be blamed on nothing else but its own carelessness. Assuming that the T-Rex survived its adolescent state and made it into early adulthood, it would have most likely faced larger and more dangerous herbivores. Unfortunately for the Rex, there were many dinosaurs in this area that were especially equipped to severely injure and even kill reckless theropods.
Only one of these are done with as an adolescent, which is impressive.
Number 2, the ankylosaurus.
Ankylosaurus!
Meet the most heavily armored dinosaur of all time.
That was my favorite dinosaur for a long time.
This prehistoric tank's most outstanding and most lethal feature is that club at the end of its tail. Studies suggest that this tail could move within a range of 100 degrees, which is enough space to wind up a blow strong enough to effectively crush an adult T-Rex's fibula.
Nice.
The vertical range of the ankylosaur swing could have been limited to this height. In addition to a bony club, the ankylosaurus was protected with a thick layer of hide and bony osteoderms that covered its upper body.
Osteoderms.
This complex arrangement of body armor went as far as protecting this creature's eyelids. Now enter the T-Rex. By knowing the capabilities of the club of an ankylosaurus, it is very possible that a well-placed strike to the skull of a Tyrannosaurus Rex could knock it unconscious or even kill an average-sized Rex.
Imagine him getting fucking Rampage Jackson by an ankylosaurus,
We could go as far as assuming that it might take more than one strike to accomplish this, as the T-Rex's head would first have to be within striking range. A Rex getting killed by this dinosaur would have to be the result of underestimating the offensive capabilities of the ankylosaurus. Unlike this herbivorous dinosaur, the next creature on this list would gladly make a meal from an unwary T-Rex.
Really?
T-Rex brain cavities show evidence that their large cerebrums could aid them in learning from past experiences. This gigantic underwater creature uses stealth and the element of surprise to override any experience-based advantages the Rex may have. Number 3, Purosaurus. The prehistoric world hosted the most terrifying crocodilians in Earth's history, but none was as deadly as the Purosaurus. Even though the T-Rex and the Purosaurus did not ever encounter each other, the Rex did most likely run into other genus of giant crocodiles in its area. But what if the Purosaurus did have an encounter with the T-Rex? The stark difference between Purosaurus and the other members of the Megacroc family is the fact that its snout is much, much wider. This enlarged head means that the Purosaurus would have had to be equipped with even more adjacent neck muscles, thus adding to its overall mass. A study held in 2015 suggested that this animal could have measured up to 41 feet long, weighing up to 9.3 tons, and could inflict a bite force of up to 15,512 pounds per square inch.
7 doors. 45 feet long is the size of 7 doors. Okay. What is a better way to do this? There's got to be a better way to do this. We'll look into it later.
The Purosaurus,
7 doors is the funniest one I've seen.
Super Crocs could perform its signature move, known as the death roll, which allowed it to rip anything in its jaws to shreds once it landed a good bite. What does this mean for the T-Rex?
Yeah, he would be messed up.
Assuming that this dinosaur approached a nearby river to get a sip of water, this would make the Rex fair game to get brutally ambushed and clamped by the Purosaurus.
We've seen that in action in multiple things, most notably probably Tier Zoo for you guys, but the death roll is very effective if you haven't seen it.
The unsuspecting Rex would most likely be tipped off balance thanks to the weight of the Purosaurus chomping on its neck. While our Purosaurus holds on to the Rex, let's zoom in and take a look at those serrated teeth. By observing the orientation of the tooth arrangements, we see that they are pointing inwards and backwards, telling us that this bite is exclusively purposed for smashing and piercing large-bodied vertebrates. It is now when the Purosaurus will attempt to rip the flesh from the Rex using its death roll maneuver. If executed successfully, the Rex would in this case find itself without a chunk of flesh. In order for this to kill the Rex, this maneuver would have to happen quickly and on an unwary and inexperienced T-Rex. But no amount of experience would make any large theropod completely safe from the lethal weapons of this next T-Rex killer.
Okay, all right.
Not all herbivorous dinosaurs were pushovers. In fact, many of these creatures came with offensive adaptations to effectively counter and kill any predators. But there was one dinosaur in particular that stood head and shoulders above all offensively armed herbivorous animals to ever exist. Number 4,
Triceratops.
Meet the vegetarian king of offense. If there was one dinosaur whose mere existence scared the T-Rex, it would have been a fully grown bull Triceratops, armed with horns that could exceed 3 feet in length, a bony frill, and a temperamental attitude. There were very few, if any, carnivores that could stand their ground in a 1v1 match against this ceratopsian. In addition to its arsenal of weapons, this dinosaur's own anatomy helped the trike leverage its offensive capabilities to maximum effect. One example of this is the Triceratops's leg structure. While its rear legs were straight like a rhino's, its front legs splayed out, allowing it to better support itself while pushing its center of gravity towards its main weapon, its 1,000-pound horned head. This anatomical structure made any attack from a Triceratops all the more fatal. But the real source of its offensive maneuverability was something that is hidden within this dinosaur's neck. This head was attached to the rest of its body with a ball socket joint, allowing extremely fast movements in a 360-degree range of motion.
Really?
The Triceratops could place its main weapon between the Rex and the rest of its body at all times. Now to the business end of the trike's offensive power, the long, deadly horns. Each of these weapons consisted of bone protrusions covered in a thick layer of keratin, making them the perfect tool to pierce through other dinosaurs like hot knives through butter. Some scientists believe that these horns could withstand pressures of up to a whopping 36,000 pounds of force.
That sounds
A reckless
insane.
Tyrannosaurus Rex would easily find itself impaled in many different locations of its body. But the most fatal strike would have been in its torso. Apart from being the most accessible area to strike, a single puncture from just one of the trike's horns would pierce through the rib cage, lungs, and reach the heart of the Tyrannosaurus Rex, killing it almost immediately. The only safer way a Tyrannosaurus could have taken down a Triceratops would be by ambush, or while attacking it with other pack members. So far, we have covered dinosaurs.
That's crazy. You know, speaking of the ball socket joint, kind of like how like your shoulder and stuff rotate. But that means they can get like tennis elbow. I never thought of like a stiff-necked Triceratops, but that's very much a possibility.
That may have been smaller than the Tyrannosaurus. The next dinosaur, however, makes any land predator look insignificant in comparison to its sheer size. Traveling to the southernmost area inhabited by the Tyrannosaurus Rex, we find one of the last remaining giant dinosaurs to ever live during this time period.
That would kill a T-Rex?
Number 5, the alamosaurus.
Which one is that? The
when
big
this
long neck?
dinosaur was first discovered in 1922, paleontologists at the time imagined this animal to be a mediocre 60 to 65 feet in length, which is not much larger than one of the longest theropods to ever live, Spinosaurus. More recent discoveries reveal that this dinosaur was in fact
massive.
Much larger
Yeah,
than
like
originally theorized.
insanity.
With some studies claiming that it might have measured close to 90 plus feet in length
Like
and
for
weighing
what?
up to 70 tons. Because dinosaurs in this area were sharing grounds with the most dangerous theropods, being big was only one of their defensive adaptations. In 2015, Michael Bretford confirmed that this massive sauropod was most likely armored based on findings that showed evidence of osteoderms. These osteoderms are bony formations on a dinosaur's skin that is usually accompanied by very thick hides. Another factor that points to the success of this dinosaur is a study that claimed that up to 350,000 alamosaurus might have been inhabiting this area at any given time.
How?
While it is true that a younger alamosaurus might have been an easier target for a T-Rex, a fully grown alamosaurus against a single T-Rex would have been a literal squash match. The alamosaurus was equipped with a massive armored body, along with a heavy tail that could have been used for offense. A more effective maneuver against a T-Rex would have been something a bit more devastating. We know that most large sauropods could very likely rear on their hind legs as an offensive maneuver,
How?
and with their tremendous amount of forward momentum, deliver the deadliest crushing power in the animal kingdom. A Tyrannosaurus, or literally any large theropod, would have zero chances of surviving a crushing impact from a 70-ton sauropod. Having said this, it would have been extremely difficult for a solitary T-Rex to defeat any sauropod of similar proportions, making this entire group of dinosaurs capable of probably killing a fully grown Tyrannosaurus Rex.
You see my face? Do you see? As a child, the scale was enormous of dinosaurs. But really thinking about how large Alamosauruses must have been is actually just blowing my mind. 100 feet? Weighing 50 tons and walking around? That's the stuff nightmares are made of. Yeah, it doesn't get enough credit, for sure. Weird. Super weird how huge this thing, and look at this is a depiction of T-Rex eating him. You can't really see the bite part, but that's fine. Wow. Well, on to the next video. We're gonna leave it in the same video, I think. There's been a variety of content coming through here of the educational-ish kind. Biggest question has always been, how big is this? How big is it? How big is it compared to me? That's all I really ever want to know. And size comparison videos are always a lot of fun for some people. Now, somebody warned me that some things in the size comparison video may or may not be real or accurate. What the fuck? That scared the shit out of me. Hello.
I love this whole thing upstairs.
It doesn't look very heavy.
Happy birthday!
Is for my birthday. Woo! Size comparison video is not what I expect to be doing on my birthday. Unless it's of my peen. All right, so let's open this box. Perfect timing, love. I had not introed anything.
I didn't think it was going to be so difficult. Sorry.
All right. We have trash. Nobody needs that. Ah! Ah. Instead of cleaning our coffee maker, we're gonna throw it away. Oh, it's not the same one that we have already.
No.
I thought it was just the same one. I told my wife I wanted a nice coffee maker, and she delivered. It looks like that's easy to get out and clean. Side compartment, I'm assuming is for water. Nope, that's for the single cup. The water goes in the back. The coffee
like
cups
your
in.
penis.
Huh. That's not the kind of support I was asking you for, but I appreciate it. This is a little heater for the little cup. Look at that. This part goes up here, maybe? Goes like this. Goes like that.
Did you just assemble your coffee maker
Boom.
in your video?
And I got a knob. Hour, program, minutes, brew option. You can take that downstairs now. Don't take this separate. Hold this separately. Thank you for the gift. That's my birthday present for him.
One of them.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, that's great. All right, here we go. Let's get into it. Hopefully we can steal a list of stuff here that we might want to look up also. You know what I'm saying? Kong infant. Okay, I get now. I get this. Right. This is Monsterverse Titans animated size comparison. So none of this is real. Oh my god, this is so stupid. Why did you respond with "it might not be real"? None of this is real. What even is this? Oh, Mothra. Okay, the Mothra. We would be dead. Skullcrawler. This is from the Kong movie. This is from the Kong movie. The King Kong movie. Oh, God. That's so funny to me. Oh, my God. There it is. There's King Kong. There he. Oh, that's mostly wing though. Titanus Mothra. Masura? Titanus Masura? It's an ally to Godzilla. That's good at least. He's got some friends out here. Ah! Good lord. They're getting bigger. Titanus Rodent. He made his reappearance on the island de Mara during the events of 2019. Cyclone Wrist remind me of like a Monster Hunter boss. Titanus Camazotza is actively discovered during a monarch evacuating initiative Skull Island. It's active during night? Is that what that said? I'm not going back. It's a giant roach. Male Muto have the ability to become airborne. I can see that. Although smaller than female counterparts, they're well adapted for close combat, even though they have little arms like T-Rexes. That's not even funny. Female Mutu specimen, much larger than their male counterparts. Their main objective is to find radioactive materials to feed their young. That is horrific. Horrific. What, is that a drone? What is that? That's the queen! Leaving more mature female specimens that complete these several breeding cycles and survive many intra or cross-species battles. Which means they fight and they scrap and they homies. And it's dwarfed compared to this. Just keeps going. Moto Prime, also known as Japan as that word, or earthquake beetle. It's a pinnacle of multi-evolution. It's a final phase evolution. I can't help but see this through, guys. I'm sorry. That's not even Godzilla. It's Adam, ancient Godzilla specimen. See, in the new Kong movie, they're like basically the same size. Ah, that big flying thing, that's from the Kong movie. I've seen that. Warbat, just straight up Warbat. They're not gliding, they're flying. Let me tell you, there is no gliding. They just fly. That's a daddy long legs with tentacle face. Very unpredictable. We don't even see humans anymore, by the way. We're gone. I saw the word tendrils. That's accurate. Where the heck are the humans at, though? It's Mammoth Bug. Just Behemoth. That's not fair. Titanus Behemoth are two descriptors. A benevolent but dangerous titan that resides in the dense Amazon jungle in Brazil. Brazil's not big enough. These things are getting too big. That's like an herb tree wood looking thing right there. Hulk. Millions of nerves that grow and attract surrounding natural elements. I don't know about that. To build its corporeal form, I don't know about that. That's kind of suspicious. Is this finally Godzilla? Are we finally towards Godzilla? Because he's shorter also than that. This is supposed to be a size chart. Yeah, Godzilla 2014. Awakened by the advent of the atomic age in the mid-1900s, because of the last remaining Godzilla specimen, its very existence was put to risk. I thought he was seeking down radioactive material to suck it up in his gigantic straw. This is also Godzilla, battle-hardened titan, the most powerful kaiju. The Monsterverse successfully defeated Monster Zero. Well, it's not. How many more? Methuselah. I just know I'm butchering these names, but I'm enjoying it. Initiating size estimation protocol. It's pretty funny. Guys, this is the most hilarious miscommunication I have ever had in the history of my entire life. When I am talking about educational content, I mean real dinosaurs.
Hello.
Not stuff from the Kong movie. Darn you guys and your freaking suggestions. Thanks for the suggestion. I appreciate it. This is a whole channel just for like hype for the Kong movie, but it's unrelated to this completely. If you have any dinosaur related content, send it over my way so I can see it. My mind is blown and I would like to keep that trend going. Maybe something on some more detail specific things, like how thick is dinosaur skin? You know, they're talking about like the plated armor. How does that work? Different biomes, maybe. Maybe give me even some different time periods. I'd be interested in that too. But I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm gonna continue trying to understand this, and I'll see y'all around. Peace.